everybody, Rachel here from Rachthestamper.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make this super duper simple gift card holder. It opens just like that. You can even fill in a little piece here if you'd like. You could put a little tag of snail to hold your gift card in place. And this is really easy to make. This is a simple card that you could make for lots of people. You could do this really quickly. And this belly band just slides right on. I just decorated this with a little bit of copper foil. This is another one that I made. I didn't finish the belly band on it, but same principle. I'm going to show you one different way to make it. And we're actually going to make this with Mary Merlot just to change it up a little bit. But you can make two of these out of one sheet of paper, so it's very economical. You can do a lot of stuff with it. Unfortunately, of course, my Mary Merlot is a brand new pack of paper, so just bear with me. You know, anytime you do anything, you gotta be a little bit of work when you're doing a video. At least I didn't have no paper left, because that only would have made it even worse. Okay, so we have one full sheet here of Mary Merlot, so this is 8.5 by 11. So for this, we're going to need a piece of paper that is 5 by 7 3/4, okay? So we're going to just go ahead and cut this in half. So we're going to cut this at 5 inches, and we're going to cut another one at 5 inches. Okay, now you can use this one piece for your belly band, but you'll need a second one for your other belly band if you're going to make it. So then we're going to cut this again to 7 3/4. And I'm going to do the same for this one, 7 3/4. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to also, while we're here, we're going to score this, and then we're going to trim out our DSP. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to score this at 2.5 and at 6. Okay, so there's one, and same thing, so 6 and 2.5. Okay, so just like that. So we have 2 card bases, so 2 gift card bases. Now the paper that I decided to use today is the Joyous Noel DSP, which is amazing. It's really, really pretty. It has a little bit of sparkle in it with the copper. So for this, we're going to use one piece with the snowflakes, and then the other piece I'm going to use is the, it has the little, oh my goodness, the pine sprigs, and then the little white tan and copper flowers. Okay, so those I think will be prettiest together. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut some DSP for this. So you're going to need pieces that are 4 3/4. So I'm going to go ahead and just trim one of these. So it is 4 3/4. And then we'll cut our flaps from this. So this will be one sheet. So we need a piece that is 1.5. And then we need another piece that is 2 1/4. Okay, and then we're going to need also a piece of Whisper White for the inside. We'll do that separately. So I'm going to do this other piece while I'm at it. So once again, this is going to cut to 4 3/4. So you could get a lot of cards out of one sheet of DSP if you were in a pinch to make a whole bunch of cards. So same thing again. So 1.5 and then 2 1/4. And you could also go with flipping these, but personally I think the way they turned out with the colors together and the little separation of color in between, so with this, so you could flip this over, so you could have one this way and then one the other way, but it ended up being so pretty with both of the pieces matching that I kind of stuck with them that way. So that'll make more sense in 1 minute. So I'm going to go ahead and trim up some Whisper White for this as well. So this also needs to be 4 3/4. So this one's a little bit shy. Let me grab another piece of paper. So we need a piece that is 4 3/4. Go ahead and cut this. And then we're going to need 2 pieces for this since we're making 2 cards. And these are going to be 3 3/8. So 3 3/8, that'll be 1. That's for the inside. 3 3/8. And the cool part about this is, I mean, you can knock out a couple gift cards at the same time. And again, I will put all the measurements onto the blog for this. So what we're going to do, these will be our inside panels. So I'm going to show you a different variation for this if you wanted to. Okay, let me move this over. So what you could do for one of these, you could do the corner rounder. So we'll do that for one so I can show you. So you could put your, this is the the trio punch. So we're going to round both of these corners. Okay, so what you could do is you could put this like that and have it rounded. You could put it up like this, probably make a little bit more sense, so it'll be smoother. And then we'll do this one. And you could also round the corners of the flaps as well. So that kind of just depends on what you want to do. Something, I don't know if I got something stuck in there or what. Okay, so we're going to round that one, and then we're going to round this one. Okay, so let me explain this. So I'm going to go ahead and fold these over. I'm just going to use my bone folder just to make sure they're nice and flat. Okay, so you can put this on here. That way you can have the rounded edge. So you can have a round and the square. And then you could do it up here as well. So you had the round, and then the top part would be square. Or you could even round the edges of these. So I'm going to keep this way. We're going to just round the one side. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on. And kind of line that up. The only thing I will advise is if you're doing anything that has lines on the DSP, make sure you really take your time. Like for example, this, to make sure that it's straight. Otherwise you can definitely tell if you lay it down and it's like the slightest bit turned. So I'll put this one on here. So that kind of looks like a little bit of like a wallet. Okay, so there's those two. And then we'll do the opposite for this one. So for this one, I'm going to leave these square. So same thing again, I'm going to just use my bone folder to really reinforce the creases. Flip this over. And this, excuse me, this was my point with the paper. What I was saying was you could always use these. So use like this side of the paper. And then instead of laying that, you could put this down. But I think this paper, first of all, is so pretty. It's very hard to cover up. But at the same time, I think with a little break of color in between, it breaks it up for you anyway. So it's not like it's too much on there. You just lay this down. Really simple, just like that. Okay, so now with the one piece that you have left over, what you can do is you can take this, fold it over, same thing again, fold it over. You want it to be snug, but not too tight that you can't slide it off. Okay, and then all you have to do is just put a little bit of adhesive right here. Just make sure these line up. And then once you've done that, you can kind of press them. And then this will slide off and on super easily, okay? But we do still have to put a little bit of something on the inside here. Now for this one, where it's square, I'm gonna leave it. For this one where we round it, I'm actually gonna just round the corners of this just to make it a little bit more cohesive. I'm gonna do all four corners just so it looks pretty. So that one will have this rounded on the inside. Could probably use to trim this down just a hair, but I think it'll close. Yeah, it closes just fine. So for this one, what we're going to do is, since we don't have anything, you could put these together, but instead we could just trim another little piece from, we have like just a little scrap of Mary Merlot. So we could trim this to be maybe like an inch. Doesn't probably even need to be that much. I'm going to do 3/4 of an inch. So I just have a little scrap piece here, so 3/4 of an inch. And then what we're going to do is the same thing for this one. We already did. I'm just going to use this same one as the template. So you just take this. This one will probably need to trim a little bit. And we're going to, oops, make sure it's square. Fold it over. And we do want to make sure that it's actually square. So we'll fold this. Bring this up. And since this one's so long, I'm just going to snip it off a little bit. There we go. And then we can always, if that part was crooked, we can cover that up. Okay, so I'm going to press, make sure this is nice and square, and then I'm going to add a little bit of snail. You could add tear and tape or fast fuse, anything is fine. Just fold that over, and then once again, we have another belly band. So again, this one was a little bit thinner, so it just kind of depends. This one was probably an inch, so really whichever one you want to use. So on the inside of this, you could use lots of great stuff. There's many, many things in the takeout treats. Some Christmas cheer for you. This is for you. If you're giving maybe a little thank you gift would be a great idea. So for this one, I'm going to use the little star. I've been using this a lot. And I'm going to actually use, also I have a couple things out of the winter woods. I have this little pine bow and the little pine cone. So I'm going to use those two. And then for this one, I'm going to use this for the outside. So I'm going to stamp this on the outside, wishing you everything on your list, and on the inside I'll put and more, and we'll put that on the inside of that one. So this will probably be the one thing that takes the most time. So let me just grab a couple scraps of paper. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to put this up here, and I'm going to do this one very tonal and tone. So I'm going to get out my Mary Merlot, and I'm going to do the little stars. Put these up here. Cover this one up just like that. Very cute, very simple. I'll do the same thing for this one, but this one I'm just going to put it in one corner. So I'll put one here, and I'll put this other one here, just so it's like one corner that's stamped. I'm going to keep this out in case I change my mind, decide to use it for something else. Just grab my little towel and wipe this off. And what do we have for this one? We said we wanted to use some Christmas cheer for you. I'm going to do with the same thing. So just find a smaller block. Some Christmas cheer for you. I'm going to continue with the Mary Merlot. And put that over here on the side. That way it'll give you a little bit of room if you wanted to write something. So this one I'm going to be finished with. I'm going to just put this inside just like that. Add a little bit of snail. And then we will put something on the outside as well. Okay, so there's that one. Just going to let that dry so I don't smudge it. Fold that over. We have this one here, which we have... Okay, so for this one, I'm going to put the wishing you everything on your list on the outside, and then I'm going to put the and more on the inside. Is that it right there? So we have and more. This is pretty tiny. Little photopolymer. Same thing again. I'm going to stick with the Mary Merlot. Oops, and that is upside down. So let me make sure I have this. There we go. Right side up. And more, okay, just like that. And then for that one, we're going to also get out the wishing you everything you want, because that will go with this really nicely. Wishing you everything on your list and more. Okay, so I'm going to show you these two. What I'm going to do for this is just stamp this. I'm going to put this on the side. I'm going to stamp this one, wishing you everything you want. That right here. Same thing again, Mary Merlot. So what I did earlier was I was stamping something, and I kind of was like trying to decorate it, and I ended up covering it up so much that I decided that this is probably a good idea to do. So if this is something that you want to do, kind of follow along with me. I'm going to add some other embellishments to this with the pine cone, but I stamped my sentiment first. That way my sentiment didn't get lost in it, because what I did the first time was, and I probably should have saved it, it would have been a great idea to share with you, but what I did was, I'm going to use Tranquil Tide for the pine bow portion. I stamped it, and then it was so dark that you couldn't even see what it was that I was trying to stamp. So I'll put those there, and I am stamping these off once before. Do one over here. Okay, I don't exactly know how much is going to show up on this punch, but I figured it's better to have more and punch it out than not enough. So let me move these out of the way, and then what I have is the 1 3/4 inch punch and the 2 inch punch. Okay, so I'm going to put this into the 1 3/4 inch punch. We'll see what fits in there. Couldn't guarantee it'd be everything, but that's okay. So we have the 1 3/4 inch punch, and then with some copper that I have. Thought I had a bigger scrap of that, so I need to order some copper. I'm going to punch out a 2 inch circle. You could also use this with your layering circle dies, so that's another option as well. I'll flip this over, put that on here. And you could put this on with the dimensional if you wanted. And you know what? You need to make sure that you're careful, because this is something I should have paid attention to. When you put your adhesive on, you want to put it in a straight line where it's going to go down here, because you don't want adhesive to stick all over to the back of your card. So I'm actually going to put this in a line, and I'm going to take my finger and just erase this back a little bit to move it over, because I don't want it to go too far. So just be careful when you do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close up my envelope. And again, you could put your gift card right in here. I'm going to slide this on. So here's the back. If you wanted to, you could cover up the seam. But if you were going to cover the seam, you probably want to put it in the middle, and then you could put this over top of it. But I'm going to just put mine in the back since I didn't think of that ahead of time. I'm going to just slip this on just like that. And I'm going to look right here. Line that up right on the center. And then I'm going to just flip it over and double check. So if there's any adhesive here, you could just roll it with your finger. So there is one. Really simple. Some Christmas cheer for you. Super, super fun. And then we'll just do one more. I have one more over here. And since I have my little thing still kind of inked up, we'll put that on there. We'll do a couple of these over to the side if we can help it. Let's see if we can get them to come out. Put in a... This is just some... what I'm going to call is residual stamping. And then we did do the Mary Merlot, so I'm going to stick with that. We have one more here. Let's see if we can get this. If not, we'll flip it over and I'll show you. This is exactly what I meant. Wishing you everything on your list. Actually, that turned out pretty dark. The other one, when I did it the first time, it was so covered up you really couldn't tell at all. I'm going to grab my Tranquil Tide and I'm going to bring this in just one more time, just because I feel like where I'm going to cut this, it's going to end up cutting that off. So I'm just stamping these off. Kind of just to fill it in a little bit more, color. That's good. And while I'm at it, since I have it, I'm going to pop out the soft suede one more time and just add in one more little pine bow. Or pine cone. Get my pine bows and my pine cones confused. Okay, so same thing again. We're going to go ahead again with the 1 3/4 inch punch. Going to kind of line this up. That ended up being really cute. Punch it out. All right, so that's the last for that piece. And one more with the 2 inch circle punch. I'm going to punch in one more of my copper circles. And put a little bit of adhesive on this one. This one, see, just did it again, same thing. But that one's going to go on the bottom. It's okay. I'm going to actually pop this one up onto a dimensional. So I'm going to show you what I mean. We'll just put 2 of them in a row. I'm pretty sure that is facing, for the most part, up. Move this over just a little bit. All right, so let me slide this one on here. We did not finish the inside of that, but I don't even know what I did with it. Nope, here it is. I'm going to put this one on here. Sounds like that one's getting ready to run out as well. Put that on there. Fold this over. I'm going to slide our belly band back on. I wonder if I measured this one for the other one. It's a little snugger than I expected, but that's okay. It's working. And then we're going to just lay this right on top. And I'm going to slide this off one more time just to make sure my dimensionals aren't sticking out anywhere weird. So I'm going to slip this right back on. And same thing again, you do have a little spot. You could put your gift card in here. You could write your note. And then you're just going to slip this back on. Make it sound easier than it is. Yeah, this one I must have measured for the, I must have measured this one for the other card. So just for the sake, I'm going to show you, since we didn't use fast fuse, you can open this up a little bit. So we're going to just make sure it works before we reseal it. So I'm going to center this back. So just another good tip here. Center this back. Going to wrap it around. I'm going to put a little bit more snail just since I pulled that apart. And just close it gently. There you go. And then it should slide. There you go. Slides very, very simply. So 4 really super cute cards. Maybe not in your traditional Christmas colors. This one I still haven't finished, but Tranquil Tide, Mary Merlot, both of these are absolutely gorgeous, especially together. You have enjoy. You could even give these out if you had somebody that maybe has a birthday near Christmas and you don't want to give them a specifically Christmas card, but something that's a little bit festive. It's a great idea. I will post all of the measurements for this on my blog. So if you haven't already, be sure you follow me at rachthestamper.com. And I thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful day.